Rogue Legacy 2 was recently released. This is a remarkable roguelike that promised to surprise with bright visuals, a variety of classes and abilities, cool bosses and many other mechanics. The game immediately attracted the attention of the community, flew into high positions on the Steam charts and earned excellent reviews. But should you pay attention to the novelty? I will talk about it in this video. Game Channel RTV welcomes you and we start. On release day, I installed the sequel so I could take a quick look at it and go to bed. Who would have thought that Rogue Legacy 2 is a trap that lures into its networks and does not release until the sun peaks over the horizon? But why is Rogue Legacy 2 so good? Almost everything, visuals, gameplay, a variety of mechanics, sound. However, there were some drawbacks too. The plot of the game is simple. One day, a brave knight reaches a mysterious place where some kind of devilry happened many years ago. Skeletons, ghosts and other evil spirits roam everywhere. Once upon a time, ordinary people with dreams and hopes lived in the castle and in the surrounding territories. They even had a pizzeria. Alas, at some point a terrible evil arose and ruined everything. It's all the fault of overly ambitious rulers and treacherous advisors who allowed the tragedy and fell victim to their own decisions. To lift the curse, a brave hero must pass through the golden gates and end evil, but this is not easy to do. The passage is blocked by massive roots, and it will be possible to remove them only by defeating the bosses. This will be the goal of the main character, and the purpose of his children, and grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and so on until the evil is done away with. History is not a priority in Rogue Legacy 2, but there are a lot of notes, NPCs and chatty spirits along the way. Some documents will tell about something funny, while others will reveal the secret of the tragedy, from which the blood runs cold. Thanks to this, it is curious to understand what happened in the world of Rogue Legacy 2. However, it is unlikely that anyone will fly into the game for the sake of storytelling. The emphasis is still on the gameplay. At first, Rogue Legacy 2 looks like a typical bagel. A powerful knight roams the castle, hitting enemies, dodging attacks, looking for chests, coping with challenges and jumping on platforms. In the end, he will get to the boss and, with due skill, will send the villain to the next world. After that, you can walk to a new location and challenge another powerful enemy. The trick is that sooner or later the hero will die. Then his mission will be continued by a descendant, but he will not start empty-handed. After all, the idea of heritage plays a crucial role in the novelty. For example, in the course of the passage, the characters open family heirlooms. Occasionally, statues come across on the way, which offer to pass special tests. If you succeed, you will get key skills like dash, double jump, access to spirit memories and so on. These skills are passed on to offspring. This is just the beginning. In the races, gold is mined, which can be lowered to improve. It is convenient if there is a forge, a training room and rooms that increase damage, armor, health and other characteristics nearby. All parameters are pumped, and each new level makes life easier. Also, gold will open access to new classes or, for example, to the services of an architect. It is in his power to stop the procedural generation of locations and save the location of the rooms for the new run. For this he will demand 30% of all the gold mined. It's expensive, but handy if you need to get to the boss as soon as possible. As a result, there is an option to fly into the location, immediately teleport closer to the enemy and rush into battle. There are other ways to make life easier for posterity. For example, you can find a drawing of a new sword or armor, the blacksmith will look at them and build a cool thing that will be inherited. And the local sorceress will take the drawings of the runes and build a little thing that can restore HP when killing enemies, attract gold, and so on. There is even an NPC that permanently unlocks portals. This will allow you to immediately move to the desired location, and not start the adventure from the very beginning. Yes, and the classes themselves are pumped after each race. The first barbarian and ranger you control won't be as cool as their great-grandchildren. It turns out that after each race, the player upgrades the castle, improves performance, acquires new equipment, orders useful runes and opens portals. Thanks to this, the characters gradually gain power, and their adventure becomes more convenient. As a result, each race becomes meaningful. Even if the character fell into a trap and died on the way to the boss, you don't get upset at all. Still, he collected resources and at least upgraded the class a little, so next time it will be a little easier. Alas, at times the mechanics are puzzling, because the cost of improvements is constantly growing, and development requires more and more impressive payments. At the 50th level, the euphoria from stable progress fades, and an impressive bag of gold is only enough for some nonsense. However, given that other roguelikes do not have such an interesting system, pumping still remains a virtue. In addition, do not forget that the essence of roguelikes is in pumping the player, and not his avatar. The gamer must hone his skills, learn the capabilities of the hero, look for an approach to enemies and memorize the boss moveset. A skilled player will cope with powerful opponents even without upgrades. After all, understanding the mechanics is more important than having a cool blade and an impressive health bar. Pumping is just one of the features of Rogue Legacy 2, and not the most important one. The system of classes and traits of heroes is much more interesting. There are 15 classes in the Bagel, and each one is unique. The starting knight is balanced, slashing opponents with a hefty sword and parrying attacks with a shield. The barbarian is not so good in defense, but each hit with an axe deals critical damage. Archer prefers to keep his distance and is good at platforming. The mage's spells are powerful, but only work at medium range. The shooter will easily mow down the crowd by emptying the clip, but reloading takes a long time. But there are more original characters. How do you like the idea of taking control of a cook? He rushes around the locations with a frying pan, which can reflect any projectile, and hits everyone with burning blows. If the cook is injured, he will quickly prepare soup and restore his health bar. It sounds strange, but it's fun to control such a hero. In Rogue Legacy 2 there are no imbo stupid heroes, everyone can fly into the location and fight properly. Such diversity refreshes the gameplay. Rogue Legacy 2 looks great. The artists did a great job on the locations, drawing a lot of details and remarkable backdrops. It is pleasant to admire a bright picture with castles, snowy terrain, caves and other diversity. At the same time, the developers have relied on design, and not on cool technologies. Therefore, the novelty will run even on a simple PC. Rogue Legacy 2 is an excellent bagel that quickly draws you in and skillfully holds your attention, throwing up more and more new features. At the same time, even gamers who have always bypassed the genre should pay attention to the sequel. Due to pumping and many other features, the novelty can become a project that will introduce you to bagels and have fun.